I went digging. I wanted to have white. I'm gonna add white to the front. I shouldn't, but a ninja can do whatever a ninja wants to do. So I'm gonna be yes. So right now I'm gonna decrease, which means right now what I'm gonna do is anyone with information on Brittany Gard's whereabouts should call the Putnam County. I'm going to crochet. Join us now to talk a little bit more about where this case could go next. Is retired FBI agent Colin Schmidt. Singles. Then I'm gonna put on the 15th one. Then I'm gonna put 2. So 14 single 2. 14 single 2. Okay, I'm gonna do that decreasing. And then I'm gonna do like 3 rows of that, and then I'm gonna switch it to the white so we can see what shape it's gonna come out. And then I'm gonna do for the white. Children and see what they've said, or if there's any issues. I kind of want to adjust around the eyes to be white. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So yeah. The second step, as we've talked about many times, is the phones. If they have a phone, or if they have her phone number, they'll ping that number and see if they can identify, where that phone is. Because 99% of the time, if they can find the phone, they can find the person. If they don't physically have the phone, if they have the phone number, I mean, I just think of internet search history sometimes can tell you a lot in these cases about what someone was going through or thinking at the time that they disappeared. How do you get access to something like that if, let's say, you don't have the password, you don't have the username, but you're looking for someone's Google searches? Well, if they are Google searching on their phone and they have a phone number, generally speaking, the law enforcement or the investigators can kind of backtrack and get into the cloud through court orders, and then from the cloud they can find the Google search history, and then from there they can find out exactly what's going on. So that's a step process, but it's basically following the trail of of internet dust, so to speak, on where this person has been. Yes. 14. Now D. D. Now 14 encore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What does it take to get the court? I mean, in an urgent search like this, I mean, 14. Now D encore. And eventually get that type of information back with the digital footprint. Well, generally speaking, they have to show some sort of crime occurred before they get the court order. And right now, she just appears to be a missing person. So that would be the first step, is that they can predicate or give some probable cause that there is a crime that has had or has occurred. And then the next step is they have to write a lengthy affidavit, submit that to a judge, and that to Apple, if it is an Apple, or Google, if it's an Android, and then from there, get the information back, which sometimes takes a couple of weeks, and then start their analysis. And at this point, she is missing, considered missing, endangered. There's been no mention of foul play by law enforcement. I'm sure there's a lot of people in their minds go that way when you have suspicious circumstances like this, but how does law enforcement approach a case that is just at this point a missing person, as opposed to the other side? Come on, baby. Well, once again, it's going to be the canvas, and then apparently there's quite a few family members and friends out there canvassing. And then they're going to do a preliminary investigation to see if there was any history of domestic violence, or if there was some sort of issue that she may have had with some stranger, or some sort of run-in with, somebody that was, had some psychological or mental issues. And then they kind of backtrack from there. Unfortunately, in cases like this, if there was a crime that occurred, it's usually, statistically, it's going to be a family member, or a friend, or a close associate. Close it up. Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the fire, because that took this from being, it's certainly suspicious. The most beautiful thing about this is that I ended on 14. That means my number and my calculation and my counting has been great. That's what it means. Good job, 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 good job. Tell yourself good job. You better tell yourself good job. And for the 2 people in here, holla. For the 2 likes, holla, holla, holla.
Well,
Thank you, appreciate you.
a
So
question for
we
arson
finished
investigators,
decreasing
but
level
the
number
arson
1.
investigators, especially with
Now
local
we
and
have
fire
done
department
the
arson investigators, as well as the
14
ATF are very, very
to
good at
14
finding those
to
clues,
14
because
to.
if there
Now
was some
this row
sort
right
of,
now, we're
some
just
sort
going
of
to keep
catalyst
going.
to the fire,
We're not
that
gonna
should really, they'll
do
know
no
based
2, no
upon
nothing.
smell, based
We're just
upon
gonna go
location,
every time we change
based
around.
upon,
Hi,
the
thank
way
you
that
so much for
the
commenting.
home was set
Every
up,
time
and
we
then
come
from
to
there
the
they
next
just follow
level,
the
which is
trail
here
of
where we have to
clues,
change the
as
2,
well as they're gonna
that's
see if they
when
get
we're
any camera
gonna.
activity or any, maybe even do a geo.
Yeah, we're just gonna change to. We're not gonna worry
to see what
about
kind of phone activity
doubling
was
at
going
all.
on
We're
with
just
the
gonna
cell
go.
sites.
We're gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. All right.
I'm not sure the specific model,
So this
but they use
is row
drones to
number
kind of look
2
over
for
the area.
decreasing,
This
because we
it
just did row
appears,
number
just
1
based off
for
the
decreasing.
address, and from what we can see, it's a very rural community, which is as expected.
And I'm thinking, should I put 2 every single time in that first hole?
Information beyond just the visuals you can get from a drone. The type
Just
of
to
drone
remember
that
or
law
no?
enforcement typically has. What kind of information?
Nah, I think I'm just gonna go. I think I'm
Well,
just
it
gonna
doesn't
go
appear
with
that
it.
the drone they used had any FLIR technology on it, nor would it be useful. FLIR is the forward-looking infrared technology to find people or animals. So they're see context here to see, okay,
Oh, I should have been counting to see, because I should have like 58. If I have 58, then that means it's a good number. Okay, 58 in the 60s
and
too.
then basically from
We
there,
don't want a
they're
big
gonna
one.
be
We're
able to
gonna
kind of
count when I go back
put
around.
the puzzle pieces together.
Because when I go back
determine where
around,
they
I'm
wanna
either
focus
gonna
their search.
find out that I have to take
I know
out this row right
kind of
here,
the cliche
or
line is the
I'm
first
good.
48,
I'm in the
when
clear,
it comes to
because
a
I
crime
didn't do
and whether
2.
it being solved.
I
But
didn't
in a
do
missing
2 in the
persons
first
case like
hole
this,
when
it has
I
been a
went,
week,
or
and I know
when
that
I
law
started it
enforcement
off.
may have more
And
information than they're
usually
letting
that's what
on,
you want to
but
do
it doesn't
to
appear
keep
that
the
they have a
pattern.
lot
But
at
right
this
now I'm
point, at least
decreasing,
that they're
so
releasing to the public.
hopefully
A
it works out.
How does the
But
approach
again, like I said,
as a
I
member
do
of law
my
enforcement
little
searching for
addiction
somebody
I have right
change
now is
compared to
I
when you
want to
first learned
add
that that
white
person
into
went
it, but I'm gonna do white around the eyes
for law enforcement. So
because we're making a ski boss.
leads or anything to kind of sink their teeth in, they're going to have to move on to other crimes, other things.
Sometimes I glitch out, but
so
that's just
why
a
the
human
first
in
48
me.
is so important, because
Appreciate the
next
3
48 is gonna be
likes,
another crime,
okay,
another issue, another
and appreciate
problem
for the
that law
4 people
enforcement
that's
has
in
to
here.
address, because law
You make my
enforcement
heart
is set
beat
up
a
to
little bit
react.
more. Oh,
So the fact
1
that the
person,
family
but
is
guess
out
what?
there
That
still
1 person
doing
is
the
my
search, they
rider.
can freshen the trail, so to
My
speak.
A1
Get
day
some leads,
1.
get those to law enforcement, and then law enforcement can and find out exactly what happened.
I know there's a lot that we don't know, and I'm not trying to speculate too much, but the fact that she just seemed to vanish, and that's kind of a dramatic
Perfect,
word
so
to
right
use,
here.
but her purse was in the house where this fire took place, her car's in the driveway. Doesn't seem that there was any evidence. From what we've heard, it doesn't seem like there was like some sort of sign of a struggle where like a door was broken, and I don't know if the fire would have an impact on that. How common in these types of cases do you see just this lack of evidence at this point about where she may be?
Well, I don't necessarily think there's a lack of evidence. I just think there's a lack of information that's being shared with the media. So law enforcement doesn't want to show all their cards, especially if they have a suspect, because they're going to confront that suspect with that information that only the suspect would know. So I think there is probably a lot more going on here. I'm confident law enforcement is not leaving any stones unturned. But before anybody speculates about the lack of information, I think time will tell exactly what is going on here.
And you touched on this a little bit. What are the conversations like inside?
We're
in this
almost
case,
around the
where you're getting a
corner.
story that has a lot of attention. The family is involved. They're getting her face out there. The public is certainly interested in this. It's reached the point where it's national
Okay, close
news.
it off.
What are the conversations like when it comes
Chain
to, okay,
2.
we're going to release this bit of
Boom.
information to the public, or we're going
So
to
this
keep
is
this
it's a
close to the
farm.
vest?
Oh,
Well, that's
bye.
management gets involved.
Said
Sergeant,
hi,
detective
bye.
sergeant, and then there's
Bye.
probably a
Hope you
team
come
of
back.
investigators
Because
on
my
this
phone's at
that are very
7%.
experienced, and they understand
And
that certain
we're gonna have to
information
charge
is gonna
it.
prompt
So
certain statements
I'm
out of
gonna have to do
suspects.
like
So
when I
they
get to
don't want to release
level the other
information
stage,
that
whatever.
obviously
Like,
is going to negatively
we're just gonna
impact
crochet.
the investigation. And well,
So this
they're
is
kind
where
of
we're
playing
at right now
chess
so
here.
far. We're
And
decreasing.
sometimes they'll let information kind of trickle out.
Now I'm gonna count it to see what's up.
Basically kind of flush somebody out of the weeds, so to speak, to see if they'll come forward. But I think these investigators are holding all their cards very close to the vest, because they are trying to piece pieces together and frankly play chess with this information before they reveal what's really.
I booked a call with a medium and asked her career advice. Not only did she fill me with encouragement, she had me crying tears of joy at the end of the call, and I definitely know I'm on the right path forward. California Psychics are there to help you reach the best version of yourself.
Yes. Cheese. Pause. This.
2 flights, 7 taxis, 1 missing bag, 2 full days of travel, but you made it. Feel confident on that mountain you've been dreaming of for months with World Nomads Travel Insurance. Don't just visit, live it.
21, 22, 23.
Going on.
God.
She didn't have much of a criminal record from what I could find. There's a couple traffic tickets, but you know, for the most part, was not involved with law enforcement. How much time does it typically take where you're trying? I mean, if you're, you know, and I know you were with the FBI, but let's say, you know, the detective that's put on this case in the beginning, how much time does it take to figure out the profile of this person who you're trying to find and all the different associates she may have had, or what may have been going on in her life at the time she went missing?
Well, that depends on if she's leading a high-risk lifestyle, and basically in the FBI we call it a victim assessment, especially in a violent crime. So if it's a high-risk lifestyle, as in prostitution, then the profile, so to speak, is going to be a little bit more voluminous because that person's going to come in contact with lots of strangers. But in this case, it sounds like it's going to be pretty straightforward. But once again, we don't know. Once they start diving in and seeing what's in her background, that's really going to open up the profile and also potentially open up suspects to if this indeed was a violent crime.
Yeah, I know it appears that she worked for the U.S. Postal Service. You know, was a mom is a mom to two kids, and often goes to volleyball matches. And I know from her family's perspective, she's never done anything like this. At least from what we know, mental health issues. Haven't heard of that as of yet. As this case goes forward, because really it's been in the last 48 hours, which would be several days after her missing, that this case started to get.
Sauce Cat is okay.
How does the public
It's perfectly okay.
in a missing persons case?
We have
impact
64,
how many resources
okay?
are actually put into it?
Stitches, which
Well,
is great because
does
we're
quite a
gonna
bit, 'cause
cut
it
out
reinvigorates
like
the investigative
23 of
resources
it,
because, frankly, the
and
law
that's
enforcement
gonna
doesn't
give
want
us
to be
down to
questioned that
40
they left some stones
in the 40s,
unturned.
and that's what
But
we
it
need.
also
Okay.
does come to the point where they're just out of leads, and once they're out of leads, they have to
My
wait
eye.
or they have to do something to generate more leads. So I'm
let me
sure
keep
that
going.
the management of that
This
police
is the
department
fourth
is kind
round.
of leaning in on the detectives, and then they're probably going back, re-interviewing people, making sure there's nothing left, no stone has been left unturned, and then at some point they're going to be out of leads, and they're going to have to kind of wait and see what develops.
Yeah, what happens to, and you talked about this a little bit before, but let's just say they, you know, even a couple
nobody's
days from
in
now,
here.
there's
That's it.
absolutely no sign
Heartbreaker
of this woman,
Circus. We're
Brittany,
at
gone.
4% on
There's
my phone, don't
no
matter.
leads that, you know,
We're
maybe
gonna
the
try
leads
and
that
get
they
as
were
much as we
following,
can
they
get out of
come up
this,
dry.
so-
Like, what, even if the public is interested, like, what happens to the case? Is it just sitting back and waiting for someone to call up and be like, hey, I think I spotted her at a location?
In many cases, yes. If there's nothing more for the detectives to do, they have to wait. They put out, wanted or missing flyers. Keep it interacting with
We
the
have
family to see
64
if there's
stitches.
any new information that comes out and checking in. But at some point, if there's no new leads, the law enforcement has to move on to the next case and basically continue to do what they need to do to keep the community safe.
Oh.
Yeah, and you have, and just kind of looking at this case, and it's this, mom of two, seems like she was, and, you can only tell so much from social media, seems like she was active in her kids' lives, like, went to their volleyball games often. You have this fire at the house. I mean, just for you and your experience, when you first saw this story, like, what stood out to you about just where we are at this point?
Well, the fire, that's obviously really creates a lot of suspicion that there's something nefarious that went on here, because that would be somebody making an effort to maybe hide evidence or destroy evidence. So that's the first thing. And then the disappearing without a trace, which is very, very unusual, especially in this world of us being connected via phones. And the fact that she doesn't have a high-risk lifestyle that we're aware of. So there's a lot of questions to be answered here, and I think law enforcement will get to the bottom of it, but it's just going to take some time.
Yeah, and when it comes to, I know her purse was left behind. I think that was on like the kitchen counter. And you think of like the cell phone might be in there, credit cards.
Ooh, I
When
have
someone leaves
donuts.
behind, and if it's a case where there was foul play,
2%, my phone's gonna die. My
My
phone is gonna die. I'm gonna end this live, and I'm gonna add more crochet,
Well,
and
that
then I'll
tells me
get back to
either they
live
left in a
again,
hurry or
and then we'll
they
see what's
left
up, okay? But my phone's at 2%.
under some other means.
Appreciate everyone who
Because
was in
generally
here,
speaking,
even though there's nobody
women
right now,
don't
or there's one
leave
person right
anywhere
now, but
without a phone.
I'm gonna
You
get
know,
off live
maybe
right now
they may
because my
leave a
phone's
purse
at
behind,
2%.
but
It's
they're
gonna
gonna have
die,
their phone with
and
them,
I'll get back on, but this is where we're at
wallet
right
or
now.
some sort of identification.
So we
That's
ended
just
it off with
culturally
chain
what's gonna
2.
happen. So the fact
We
that
are
these things were left
decreasing.
behind
We have
also is very
64
suspicious
stitches,
and causes
and
concern amongst
we're
the
making
law
the
enforcement because if
ski
there
mask
was nefarious activity,
for my
everybody
ninja
knows
outfit because that's what
if
I'm gonna
you
be for
don't have a
Halloween.
phone with that
So yeah,
person, then it's harder to
thank you
track that
everybody.
person.
Oh, now I have 4 people in here,
It's
but
just a very
I'm gonna get back on
interesting
live
case, and
later. But my phone's at 2%. I gotta
circumstances
charge my phone, and
surrounding it. Hopefully we'll get some answers
but
soon.
I hope that you get
Retired
back
FBI
on
agent
later.
College
I
Fit is
appreciate you
always great to
1%
have you
now.
along,
So
Brian.
bye.
Thanks for being here.
Later, I'm gonna
Thank you.
crochet more and see where we're
That
at.
will do
Okay,
it for On
thank
the
you so
Case,
much. I appreciate you.
presented by Law and Crime.
Mwah.